This dude is the ex-Marine who became serial killer. What you're about to hear is quite disturbing. He calmly explains kidnapping 19-year-old Jennifer Asbenson.
I remember she said she was getting up like around 6, so I got in my car and I drove back toward that area.
Hey, how you doing? And she was up with me from last night. Alright, she wants to get some breakfast.
I just reached over and I grabbed her by the hair, and then she got scared, and I produced the gun. I told her to turn around, I tied her hands behind her back.
I put her in the trunk, and then I just started driving her.
Jennifer Asbenson, a 19-year-old, was attacked, kidnapped, and carried to a desert, but managed to escape twice before surviving. Despite telling the police, no one believed her tale. Andrew Urdiales was not brought to court until 5 years later, when he confessed to the murders of 8 women. During the trial, Jennifer finally had her chance to confront him and put an end to his 10-year rampage.
He's pure evil, and he's gonna pay for what he did.
On September 27th, 1992, in Palm Springs, California, 2 guys were stopped in the desert by a woman who was half naked and had bite marks on her neck. She informs them that a man has tried to kill her. The 2 men accompany her to the nearest gas station, where they notify the Palm Springs Police Department. When police arrive, Jennifer Asbenson describes how Andrew kidnapped her, threatened her with a gun, and trapped her in the trunk of his car. The police inform Jennifer that they have cause to assume she is lying and that she most likely had a quarrel with her boyfriend, dismissing her tale altogether. After photographing the wounds on her neck, they send her home. Jennifer is destroyed. She returns to her life, terrified that Andrew would one day show up at her place. After years of dealing with her own tragedy, Jennifer receives a knock at the door. It's the California State Police. They invite Jennifer to accompany them to the police department. As she sits across from an investigator, he shows her images of probable suspects and asks Jennifer to identify the man she claimed abducted her 5 years ago. Without looking at the others, she confidently slides his photo forward.
And he said, this guy is a serial killer. He killed 8 women, and you're the only one that got away.
That's where Jennifer is on her way to work a night shift, caring for children with special needs the day before she is abducted.
I would work from 10 at night till 6 in the morning, but I was young. I was 19. I had a wonderful job.
She misses the late bus, concerned that if she is late, she would lose her job. A car passes and slows down next to her. The man inside appears friendly and asks Jennifer if she needs a ride. She refuses out of instinct, even though she is not threatened by the stranger. As the man drives away, Jennifer reconsiders her decision.
I did think he's a stranger, but he looked small, glasses on, just harmless.
She gets in, and they drive away. During the car ride, they talk about trivial topics, and she begins to relax with him, feeling ridiculous for even worried about the ride. As he drops her off, he asks if she wants to go to breakfast after she gets off work. She declines, stating that she has a boyfriend. The dude continues on, asking for her phone number.
And I thought, I'm just gonna make up a number and get away from him.
During her night shift, Jennifer forgets about the man she may never see again. On September 27th, 1992, at 6 a.m., Jennifer is leaving work and headed toward the bus stop when she observes an automobile that looks similar to the one she got the night before. It's Andrew again. He rolls down his window and invites her to go for breakfast.
I was already laughing, like, you just don't give up.
And I just thought, okay, he's obviously nice. He didn't do anything to hurt me the night before, and so I got in the car.
Once she enters, something changes in the man's expression.
He brings up the phone number that I gave him and just screamed. I called that number and some old answered.
Jennifer's head is slammed into the glove box, and the man uses a rifle and rope to bound her hands.
He was screaming at me, calling me names. I didn't know if he was going to slit my throat. I didn't know what he was going to do.
He lowers her seat to keep her out of sight and drives off. After only a few minutes, the vehicle turns onto a route that leads deep into the desert. Jennifer is simply imagining what will happen to her.
I could see the telephone poles, and we passed one telephone pole and then the next. And the more that passed, the more hope that I lost.
The man pulls over, takes out a huge knife, and begins cutting Jennifer's clothes off. She can see that he has done this before. She attempts to fight him off, but he is too powerful and forceful. Every time she fights back, she gets harmed. Then, he throws himself upon her. But something happens. Andrew realizes he can't perform. This simply makes him furious.
The violence level started to escalate. I felt my face get really, really hot, and my vision started to get really weird.
She loses consciousness for a little period before waking up to see him biting her neck and screaming like a crazy.
That's when he got out of the car, and he went to the trunk, and he pulled out a brown shopping bag full of knives. I finally realized he's gonna murder me.
She gets out of the car and begins running through the desert.
I just ran, and I imagined he was gonna shoot me.
Suddenly, she feels a severe pain at the back of her skull. Jennifer collapses as the man drags her back to the car. He puts her in the trunk of the car and slams it shut, telling her he is going to kill her. Jennifer is terrified. She can't see anything. Her wrists are tied behind her back. She's trapped inside a moving car, and her chances of escape are gone.
My first thought was panic, and I just started praying out loud.
At that point, she felt a wave of strength overtake her. She separates her hands, breaking the string that holds them together. She can't believe her hands are free, but there's no time to waste. Andrew is driving her to her death. She relies on her hands to sense her surroundings in the dark, as she cannot see. She rips the interior of the trunk apart, looking for a method to open it. She tugs on a handle, releasing the cover, but Andrew notices and pulls the car over.
Then he came around to the back of the trunk, and he bounced on it.
He closes the trunk without noticing Jennifer's loosened hands and returns to the car. Jennifer can hear the tires spinning in the sand, indicating that he has become trapped. This may be her only opportunity of escape. She pushes the trunk open and begins to flee.
I turned around, and he was chasing me with a machete.
But she does not stop. On the road, a car passes by. She pleads for their assistance. The driver locks the door. When Andrew approaches with the weapon, the car drives away, and she continues to flee. When she sees a truck approaching, she doesn't take any chances and stands up half nude in the middle of the road, forcing the driver to pull over. The two men in the truck get out and take Jennifer inside. When she looks back, Andrew is nowhere to be seen.
And the passenger came and put me in the back seat. They brought me to the local gas station. The police were called. Ambulance came. My mom was called.
Jennifer's poor connection with her mother prevents her from receiving the necessary help. Her mother accuses her of fabricating things for attention, and no one believes her, including the cops.
You get out of a situation like that, it doesn't always go uphill from there.
Year after year, she lives in fear since the man has her identification cards with her address on them. She sleeps on the roof of her house, worried Andrew would return to finish the job. She feels unprepared and helpless to protect herself. However, her life changes when she meets Mika Moulton. Mika knows Jennifer's pain, having lost her son in the most tragic way.
It is a very shallow grave, and that it appears to be the outline of a very small torso.
Losing a child is something you can never imagine. There's just this incredible need to wake up, and you can't.
Then she receives news that no parent ever expects to hear.
There's evidence of exceptionally brutal or heinous behavior indicative of wanton cruelty.
Christopher suffered. He tried to shield himself, he tried to fight, but he didn't know how. And that hurt really bad for me.
Mika had no idea she needed to teach her son protective measures, but after what happened to him, she wanted to ensure that no other children went through what Christopher did. So she set up a class that teaches children how to defend themselves against prospective assailants.
Come here! Ow! 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 Ow!
Mika, also known as Christopher's Clubhouse, assists survivors such as Jennifer, who seeks to overcome her fear. With each passing day, Jennifer's terror diminishes and her strength develops.
Right closed. Don't open them unless you're grabbed, okay?
Damn! Looking fine! Yeah, you're gonna party hard.
She learns new ways to defend herself and develops unbreakable confidence in her thoughts. She is prepared for the day she will face her attacker. The year is 1997. 5 years after her disappearance, Jennifer is in the police station and has just identified Andrew Urdialis from a lineup. The investigator informs Jennifer that Urdialis has been arrested and has confessed to all 8 murders, including Jennifer's kidnapping.
Jennifer. Well, I don't know what year it was. Maybe 1992.
I told her, turned around, I tied her hands behind her back. I just had my hand on her throat and I just kept choking and she kept kicking and, you know, her saliva was coming out of her mouth and her face was turning blue and red. I put her stop.
Her.
Jennifer cannot believe it. After all these years, her monster is finally behind bars. She learns that there will be a trial and that her testimony will be critical to the case for all the other women who did not make it out alive and for the world to know what they went through. Jennifer didn't expect her face-off to be like this for years. She's been working on her strength and barrier, but now she's back in the same situation as before, unprepared.
I knew I had to go back there and I had to be so vulnerable. I did not want to do that in front of him. I asked if they could get him out of the room. They couldn't.
The very first time seeing him, my whole body kind of froze when I looked at him because I hadn't seen him in so long. And he was there in front of me now. And I kind of just wanted to tell myself, he's going to pay for what he did.
Through her own bravery, Jennifer Simpson spoke for all these women that didn't get away. She was a hero.
Despite pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, Andrew Urdialis was judged guilty of all 8 murders in 3 separate trials.
Penalty to be imposed upon defendant Andrew Urdialis to be death.
I just felt an overwhelming sense of relief.
Jennifer faced the monster and defeated it. She was sent back into a hazardous world where she discovered strength and, like Mika Moulton, became a force to be reckoned with.
I ride on shopping carts. I don't want to miss a moment of fun because I know my life was almost taken away.
Yeah.
I will find joy.
Yeah.
I will skip. I will.
Despite everything she had been through, Jennifer was able to turn her life around and demand better.
I still can live an amazing life and find beauty and joy and happiness in everything, especially letting other people know that they are not victims, they're survivors.
Jennifer Aspenson is living proof that no matter what the world throws at you, there is strength within you ready to be released. Thank you for watching. If you want to uncover more real crime stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Stay tuned, because the next mystery might be closer than you think.